This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. We're continuing in Mishna Berura Daf Hashavua. We're learning Siman Lamed Beis Sif Tes. We're learning about tanning the hides for tefillin. We learned in Sif Ches that it has to be Me'ubad L'shmai, Mitchilas Ho'ibad. Not only that, it has to be L'shem Tefillin or Sefer Torah. But mezuzah, which is lesser than tefillin, even if you're mechavin l'shma, but not for the proper kedusha, it is pasal. Sibtes im ibdai eni Yehudi. What if a guy tans it? So of course it's not good. A guy can't do a l'shma. But Rambam, according to the Rambam, pasal afilu amar lo Yisrael la'abed l'shma. Even if the Jew tells him, do it l'shma, do it for the sake of tefillin, the Rambam says it's pasal. Ulaharash kasher. According to the Rosh, it's kosher im Yisrael oimed al gabay v'siyai, if the Yisrael is standing upon him and he assists him. Says the Rama, he assists him ktsas be'ibuda, a little bit with the tanning, v'chei noyagin, and that is the custom. Says the Mishna Berura Sivkatan Chavches. The Svira Leila HaRambam, the Rambam holds, the akum oisa adaita denafsha. Even though you tell the guy, okay, have this in mind, the guy is acting on his own behalf. He has his own agenda. So even though the guy says, yeah, lishma, ain pivli b'sham. He's not sincere about his commitment. He's not sincere about doing it lishma. So again, if a guy tans it and the Jew says do it lishma, according to the Rambam, it's pasal because the guy we assume is doing it for himself. Aval harosh svirale. The Rosh, however, holds the kivan shu oimed al gabay. Since the Jew is standing upon him, in the beginning, when you're putting the hides into the lime, he says, put it in lishma. We don't need the kavana rak beis regan. We only need his kavana for a moment. For a one split second of thought, then the guy will cooperate. You put it in for that reason. Says the Chazonish, quoted by Dirshu in footnote 49, Chazonish in Archem Simvav Sivkatan Yod, that the machshava of the lishma of the guy is meaningless. But since it's recognizable in the first pe'ula that the guy is doing, that he's doing it because the Jew told him. The Jew said, put it in the lime lishma, and the guy's putting it in the lime. So the act of the guy is ascribed to the Jew as if the guy is doing it as a shliach, and the lishma of the Yisrael works. I can't say that I would have thought that's what the Mishna Berura meant. I would have thought the Mishna Berura meant that in general, if you tell a guy to have kavanah lishma, he's not going to listen. He's going to have his own. But since all is needed is to have kavanah for that split second, so that amount of cooperation we could assume the guy would have. Now, I'm not saying that I would understand why a kavanah of a guy helps. I'm just saying that's the simple mashmais of the Mishna Berura. The Chazonish doesn't learn that way because the Chazonish feels that the kavanah of a guy, even if it's the right kavanah, has no bearing, has no significance. So he has to learn it's not the kavanah of the guy that's operative, it's that the act of the guy is recognizable, he's doing it for the Jew, so it's ascribed to the Jew, so we could use the Jew's kavanah lishma. Now, avalim ha-Yisrael ha'omer agabe chishe b'libay levad lishma, but if the Jew who's standing upon him is thinking in his heart lishma, and he doesn't tell the guy to think lishma, loy mahani, it doesn't work. Vafilu omer loy befeirosh, even if he says so explicitly. Kol sha'omed meirachaik, if he's standing from a distance, and he's not teaching him, loy mahani afilu larash, it doesn't work, even according to the Rosh. I don't think this is mashma like the Chazonish. Meaning the Mishna Berura is saying if the Jew is thinking Lishmai, it doesn't work at all. He has to tell the guy to do it Lishmai. This question is according to the Chazon Ish, why would you have to tell the guy to do it Lishma? Why can't you just tell him to do the act? You say, I need you to put this in, so you're acting as my shliach, and I'm being mechavin Lishma. Why do we need the guy to have Lishma? It seems like it's required that you instruct the guy that his kavana has to be, that the guy has to put it in Lishma. Now the Rama adds a few words over here. It's not just, according to the Rosh, it's kosher if the Yisrael's oimed al gabay and he assists. The Rama adds, he assists a little bit in the tanning. Says the Mishna Berura, afilu im lo yisiyai rak b'soif ha'ibad. Even if he only helps in the end. V'afilu gam zeh asiyu lo rak b'shutfus ima'akim. And even if the help means that I'm doing it with you, kosher. However, the Mishna Berura points out, v'chol zeh l'mitzvah ba'alma. The requirement that the Jew has to help, that's only a mitzvah. Because b'diavad, according to Rosh, even if you didn't help him at all, it's effective. By the way, the Shartzian points out that the Pana Me'iros holds that, according to the Rosh, if you don't help him, it's not effective. But nevertheless, most poskim hold helping him is not ma'akev. The guy is doing it with the das of the Jew who's telling him to do it lishma. By the way, the Shartzian says not to rely on the shita of the Rosh, because in a place where you have tanners that are Jews, you should give it to a Jew, because Tosfos holds like the Rambam. Since Tosfos holds like the Rambam, we want to be choishesh for the shita of the Rambam, and it's not going to help even if you are Messiah Ktsas. Okay, we'll hold over here today. We'll pick it up tomorrow in Seif, at the end of the Mishna Berura, at the end of Seif Tes. Wishing you a great day. Bracha v'atzlacha. Kol tov.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.